Hello again, I'm Tripp Rogers, and this is Tripp's Take. Well, we are in the midst of football season. I know it's only 3 weeks in. Week 4 of the NFL is this week, and week 5 for college football. First of all, boy, Notre Dame, really? 10 men on the field for the last 2 plays. You didn't have 11. What's going on, guys? And I was talking about it at work with my coworker, and we both agree. Marcus Freeman is in over his head as the coach of Notre Dame. And you kind of wonder what his shelf life is at this point. That was a major faux pas. And a nationally televised, well, every Notre Dame game is nationally televised. That's a bad thing. But primetime game, I mean, you could see it. It was bad. And that's the part of it that just kind of is. And I have been a Notre Dame fan all my life. In fact, the first piece, honest to God, and I always remember this, the first kind of team shirt I ever got was a Notre Dame shirt. I got a, property of the Notre Dame athletic department. I mean, I got that. That was back in 1971. It's amazing the things you remember, but I've been a Notre Dame fan all those years. In fact, back then, I'd watch the Sunday morning replays of Notre Dame football. And, Notre Dame was the first national team, really. And it's just, it was a shock to see them lose to Ohio State. But, hey, listen, it's a tough schedule. You go onward and you go upward. But let's talk football week 3. Now, Thursday night last week was awful for the Giants. They were awful. I had no expectation of the Giants winning that game. I had no expectation of the Giants even doing halfway well. I mean, seriously, I said take the points because I knew San Francisco was going to blow them out. But they were awful. And yeah, I took it on the chin from a couple folks for a couple days. But, over the last few years, I always remember as bad as things get for the Giants, I give you the New York Jets. And Sunday was a debacle, the likes of which, I mean, again, as bad as the Giants were on Thursday, the Jets were even worse on Sunday. The Jets were expected to be competitive. They weren't even close. And they're going to stay with Zach Wilson as quarterback. We saw it for 2 years. He was no good. And, Aaron Rodgers comes in. He's going to be great. Right. So the Jet and Jet fans are just in an uproar. They cannot take another week of Zach Wilson. And, they're playing Kansas City this week. Yeah. That's going to be a good game. And then next week, the Jets play Denver. I mean, it could get really ugly really quick. And I think the problem, the Jets were on Hard Knocks, and Robert Saleh made no bones about it. This was a big year for the New York Football Jets, and it's not turning out that way. And when you go on TV and you say this is supposed to be a big year for us, and your quarterback goes down 4 plays into week 1, it's not good, and it's not going to go well. And, Robert Saleh has not been what we'd call a great coach. Now, maybe he hasn't had the players, but, sticking by Zach Wilson at this point is really bad. Now, the Jets have signed Trevor Siemian, who is okay. I mean, it's not great, but at this point, they take Fireman Ed at the quarterback. Anybody's better than this. It's awful, but it is not good. And like I said, as bad as it is as a Giant fan, I mean, it's brutal if you are a Jet fan. They've been to 1 Super Bowl in my lifetime, and only one. They won that game in 1969, but they haven't been back since. And the closest they've come, they've made the 2 championship games, but they have lost both of them in the second half. It's just, it's a shame. I mean, it's really bad. And again, it is a franchise that has been around for quite some time. All right, moving on. Started watching Daisy Jones and the Six, which is on Amazon. Now, that's the show that stars Elvis's granddaughter, Lisa Marie's first child. And it's about an imaginary rock group in the 1970s. It's a really good show. It's on Amazon Prime. I recommend it if you are a fan of music. And it's great. And it's shot kind of documentary style. Years later, they're going back and they're talking about what happened. And, this is one of those 70s groups that just, again, one-hit wonders type of things. You talk about that. You talk about the movie, remember The Wonders? Well, That Thing You Do was the movie I'm talking about. And, you have the music business is littered with them. They implode them to drugs or whatever, groups fight, that kind of thing. So I recommend it, though, Daisy Jones and the Six. Only Murders in the Building, last episode is coming up this week. And it's been an interesting ride this year. This is the third season. I kind of wonder where they're going to go next, because I don't know if there's anything else. And again, there have been some twists and turns so far this year. It'll be interesting to see what happens. Meryl Streep is great, and she has been one of the guest stars this year. I recommend it if you're looking for stuff to stream. Of course, the writers have now settled their strike. The actors are still out, so not sure if we're going to get anything done, if we're going to be able to save the TV season. But hey, listen, there's always reality. Remember that. Reality shows. And oh yeah, football, Monday night. ABC running all the Monday Night Football games on ABC and ESPN. Yeah, well, there's a reason for that. And part of it is there's nothing else to run. I'm sorry, that's life in the fast lane. Funny thing that, you notice, and these are things you notice as time goes on. We have the summer months and it never gets dark till 8:30, 8:45, depending on where you are. But the days start growing shorter as time goes on. And I'm keenly aware of it for two reasons. Number one, I don't have the time I have to cook on the Blackstone. I got to get some type of lighting system out there because I can't see the grill. And then I go to try and clean it. I can't see it. Okay. So that's one of the downsides of having a grill outside, unless you have some lights set up there. I got to do something for that. But the other thing, I was aware of it tonight because we had gone out and we had gone to dinner. And we were driving home, and there's a lot of folks still walking. I mean, the weather is still rather nice here in Savannah, and people are going out and taking their walks when it's cooler at night. And at night, it does get kind of cool. The problem is they're walking at night, you can't see them. And people are used to taking their walk like at 8 o'clock at night. Well, in the summertime, it was sunny. 8 o'clock at night, now it's dark. I noticed that tonight, and I was like, that's interesting. So anyhow, that's going to do it for Tripp Steak for September the 28th. Can you believe we're almost into the month of October? Less than 3 months until Christmas, and 2023 is almost over. Oh, yeah. Love to hear your comments and questions about my show and my podcast. Just email trippsteak@gmail.com. Fantasy football players, be on the lookout for my other podcast, Fantasy Sultans, with the Hall of Famer Mike Sheck. You can find it also on Spotify for podcasters, Apple, Google, iHeart, and also on YouTube. You can search for Fantasy Sultans. You can also find my podcast on YouTube. Just search for Tripp's Take. Like the music of the 60s, 70s, and 80s, listen to WTRSradio.com. That's going to do it for this week. Join me again next week. For now, I'm Tripp Rogers. Thanks for watching and listening, and have a good one.